to Katrina's Creations. This is episode 166. And if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that little red subscribe button down below. And if you click the little bell icon next to it, you will be notified anytime I post a video, which is always on Saturdays and usually on Wednesdays. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming by each week. And a lot of you are returning viewers, but you don't subscribe. So if you haven't, please click the little subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, because that actually does help me as a channel to be promoted to other YouTubers. So, and people who are YouTube watchers. So yeah, thumbs up are important. So I appreciate it. So let's get started. I actually got a lot done this week. And I have not one, not two, but 2.5 finished projects. So the first one is my finished cardigan. I posted the cardigan on the Facebook page in the holiday along just in time before the holiday along ended. So that was like 2,000 yards. I hate to think I'm wearing 2,000 yards of fabric. And when I made this, if you remember, I told you I felt like I was crocheting a tent because it seemed like it was too big. Sadly, it fits. That's the scary part. But anyway, here it is. I will stick some modeling shots of me wearing it, but I just wanted to show you a few things with it. This is the front, and I showed this in the video, but I did do some half double crochet just to narrow the collar down a little bit around the neckline. And you can see where my seams are joined. That's why this orange is a little thicker, because I ended the front and the back with the orange. So that's why that center seam is a little bit thicker on both sides. And I edged the entire thing with the blue. So around the neckline, but I also went down the front and around the sleeves, although I am probably going to add a little bit more blue to this, maybe an extra inch. When I have my arms down, it falls in the right thing, but when I move my arms up, it kind of ends up about like how this sleeve is. So, which isn't horrible, but I think I might make it just a little bit longer. So anyway, with that, I'm going to, because it's hard to hold this whole massive thing up, I'm going to insert the modeling clips that I did of me wearing this. Here is the sweater, and I have a little like a clasp that I'm going to put here. It's just like a sweater, like a chain thing with the little hooks on it. I forget what they're called, but I have one. So it fits actually pretty good, which kind of surprised me because it looked like it was huge when I was making it. This is the top of my hips right here, so it just comes just below. And I will turn around so you can see it. So the sleeves come down. I could add a little to the sleeve, but it actually comes right about where my wrist is, so I think it's pretty much fine. I did add a little to the collar, as you can see right here. This is just half double crochet. Just because it kept wanting to fall off of my shoulders, I wanted the neckline a little bit closer up. And I edged it with the blue all the way around, including the sleeves. So I could put a little bit more, and I might, because when I do lift my arms up, it comes down a little bit. So I might put a little bit more blue edging on the sleeves. But otherwise, it turned out very well. And there it is. Now, my other finished object this week, I made yet another headscarf. And this one is in green. It's kind of a sage green. I have one more to make, and then I think I'll have enough variety of colors to match pretty much anything I wear. Actually, this goes really nice with this. Anyway, I'm going to make a white one. So far I have a cream, a black, this green, a red, and I have another one that's in light blue. It's not this pattern. So I think that's all I have. Yeah. Anyway, so I should have plenty. at that point, when I add a white to it, I think I will have enough variety of colors, although I have been toying with a yellow. Yellow would be pretty too. So that's my other finished object. And then when I said a half finished object, this was a headband, and I showed it last week, that was cranked out on a vintage sock machine from Appalachian Sock Company when Kim and I went down to visit with Kim Garver. And my head is just weird shaped, and it kept shooting off the top of my head. And it's funny because my husband, for Christmas, my mother gave him one of those flashlight things that straps to your head, and I was helping him adjust the head strap to it. It shot off of my head too, so I think I must have a pointy head. I don't know. But anyway, because it's wide to cover over top of your ears, when it got to the back of my head, it just kept slipping up, because apparently the back of my head is fairly flat. I don't know what my problem is. But anyway, things don't stay on my head really well. Thoughts don't stay in my head very well either, but that's beside the point. So what I did is I ripped it back last week, and then I narrowed it drastically down so that it will now stay on my head. So it's just done in garter stitch, and it's actually, the seam is right here, and what I did is I knitted them consecutively, so I had a set of needles doing this one. I was kind of like doing like 2 at a time socks, but I was doing both sides. And then once I got to the top here, I just did a 3 needle bind off. So if you're not familiar with that with knitting, it creates a seam without actually stitching it together. You're basically knitting the 2 things together. So anyway, now I can wear this, and it will be put to good use, because where I work, I'm outside and it's cold. And so this will keep my head warm, and it sparkles, which is really, like, there you can see it. So very excited. So now I will be able to use this. So that was my semi-finished object, because most of it was done by Kim Garver and by Kim Brame. So they did the cranking, and I was filming, and yeah. So I just did this little part here. Now, what am I wearing today? Before I show my works in progress, this is some yarn from Knit Crate a couple years ago. It is just different shades of green. As you can see it going across here. There is no pattern for this. It is just an infinity scarf. It's just the shell stitch, and I made it probably, it's like 14 or 15 inches wide. And then it's just a shell stitch. This is a worsted weight. It is very soft. It's very squishy. And I did put a twist in it, which technically I think makes it a Mobius. So there you can see the twist. I just thought that kind of dressed it up a little bit. And it helps it to lay a little nicer. So, and it just happened to match this sweater. So I was like, wow, that works. So, yes, we like to be coordinated. So Wednesday's video this past week was a little shopping trip that my husband and I, actually it was a series of shopping trips. I did want to clarify, because when I was looking back at the video, one time we're eating a breakfast, one time we're eating a lunch, and one time we're eating a dinner. Just wanted you guys to know that was not all on the same day. We seriously did not eat that big of meals all in one day. That was 3 different days. So our first day that I filmed, my husband and I Christmas shop, as I've mentioned before. We Christmas shop for the following year right after the Christmas. So we did most of our shopping for our grandchildren for 2020 already. And they're sitting under the stairs where the kids can't get into them. So we went out to breakfast before we did that. And then it was a late breakfast, so we didn't eat again till like dinner that night. And then the second day, the trip that we went was where I bought some yarn at a yarn shop. If you missed that video and you want to see it, you can click the little eye right here, and that will take you over to it. And you can view the yarn shop, but it's called Flying Fibers. It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I will show you what I bought shortly. But yeah, so that day we had a bowl of cereal at home. And then you saw us eating donuts. That was our lunch, where we each had a donut. And then we had a big dinner at a diner on the way home. And then the third part of the trip, we went grocery shopping. And so We had a bowl of cereal at breakfast, and then when we ate the burgers, that was probably around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was the meal for the rest of the day. So just wanted to clarify that, because when I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, you guys are going to think all I do is eat. Well, looking at me, you would come to that conclusion too. But, Anyway, yeah. So if you missed that video, go check it out, because it's a really cool yarn shop. And you can buy online from them. So anyway, let's get started with my works in progress. I have made a good dent in the front of my cardigan. This is my knitted project that I've got going on right now. I've finished the back. I finished that, I think it was last week or the week before. And you can see where my progress keeper is. So I have done like 2 inches, well, no, maybe more than that. I've done about 3 inches, which doesn't sound like much, but if you look at these cables, it's very involved. So there is the front so far. I have a couple inches to go before I do the cutouts for the sleeves. So, and that won't involve messing up this pattern at all, because the sleeves will come off at the sides here, which is just stockinette stitch. So yeah, so there is what I've gotten done on the front. And then I started another crochet pattern. Now this is one I've been wanting to do for a while, just because I love slipper socks. I wear them, in fact, I'm wearing my husband's socks right now. My feet are always cold, so around the house I wear nice thick slipper socks on my feet all the time. Or like ankle socks. I don't like socks that go up my legs. I have fat legs, and I have to make the cuffs too big. So I like them around my feet. So this was a pattern that was in a Knit Crate box a few months ago. They kind of remind me of little Peter Pan slippers, because they kind of have like a little bit of a flap right here. And I just thought they were adorable. They are all they're very simple. I can't show the pattern simply because it is a paid for pattern, but you guys can figure it out. It's pretty simple. The pattern is called After Show Slippers by Dimitra Bagri. Now, the pattern calls for, it's a series of 8 single crochet squares that you assemble in a certain order, and then you connect them all together and it becomes the slipper. But here's the one thing that I thought was a little weird with the pattern. Like I said, I can't show it to you, but the underside of the foot is a series of 4 connected squares. So it's a square here, square here, square here, square here. I don't know about you, but I don't want seams where you've connected those blocks. I don't want that on my feet underneath. I mean, on top is fine, but I don't want to walk on a seam, because that would just feel uncomfortable. So I'm doing 1 big square. I was like, well, that's kind of silly. So I just added the number of stitches per square and doubled it. So I am making 1 big square on the bottom, so I do not have a seam. So here's what it looks like so far. Like I said, it's all single crochet. And this is the yarn I'm using. I have a whole other half of a skein of this. This was some sock yarn. I have several skeins of different colors in this, but this is just a plain sock yarn. I think it's Patons. I don't remember anymore. I've had this for quite a while. But it's very comfortable. I have 1 pair of socks I wear all the time that's made out of this. And I have this skein, and I have like another half a skein that I could make another set of socks. So from 2 skeins, I'm going to probably get like 3 to 4 pairs of little ankle socks out of it. So anyway, that's the furthest I've gotten with it so far. So not a huge amount. And you use a 2.5 millimeter hook, which is what I'm doing it with. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this because I just think they're kind of cute and I like slipper socks. So that is my 2 works in progress. But then I want to get into my advent calendar and start working my way through that. So let me show you what I am doing here. The first thing I thought I could whip up really quick would be the hat. Now, if you remember from my advent calendar, and if you missed that and you want to watch the yarns I got, again, you know what to do. Click that little thingy there, and that will take you over. There's like 24 days because the 24th and 25th of December I combined. sort of by accident, but they're there. But the last day, Karen of SSK Yarners, and she does have an Etsy shop. It's sskyarners.etsy.com. And so she sells these things. And so the last day there were 3 hat blanks. Same thing as a sock blank. It's just this is like a DK weight, so it's a little heavier. So she sent me 3 of them. So I measured the grams of how much total there is here. And then I went looking for a pattern, and she sent me a pom-pom as well. Now, I don't like stocking hats because the ribbing is well, we all know it's going to fall off my head. But aside from that, I get headaches. Like, I can't wear headbands and stuff because it just gives me headaches. So I was looking for something that would be kind of loose, but I wanted a hat. So I found this. It's a free pattern. I found it over on Lovecrafts, but I'm assuming you can probably get it from the Cascade Yarns website too. And here is the pattern. So here it is. It's Cascade Yarns Chavon's Beret. Or Chavogans. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but you can see the name of it. And here is the back of the hat. And that's an up close of what the stitches look like. And here it is. You could wear it tipping off the side of your hat, but I kind of like the way this looks like, sort of like a snood. So it's kind of slouchy in the back here, which with having long hair, I thought that would be kind of nice because I could actually tuck my hair into this. So that's the pattern I want to do with the yarn. And instead of this little loopy thing right here, which is cute, but a pom-pom's going to look cuter. So yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm going to make with that. So I figured that was going to be a real quick project because it's thicker yarn. So that's my knitting project that I've got going on. And then another work in progress, which I have not started yet. I'm hoping to get it done for Wednesday's video, or at least well, it won't be done. It'll be started. But I am hoping to get my loom warped on Saturday, which is the day you're watching this. I'm hoping to get my loom warped. And for those of you who have been watching or not watching for a while, I have a tabletop 4-harness weaving loom. So you can do different. When I say 4-harness, it means you can do other than just over and under. You can do fancier patterns. So I am going to be making a gray scarf, like an infinity. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it an infinity scarf or just a wraparound scarf, but a very kind viewer last year sent me some yarn that came in a Knit Crate box, and I had received the exact same yarn, and I made a scarf for my husband, and it's extremely soft. It has alpaca in it, and I think it has cashmere in it. I'm not sure, but it's extremely soft. So I made a linen stitch, which kind of looks woven, scarf for my husband, and so she sent me this yarn, and I'm going to actually weave it in a herringbone pattern so that I have one. And the coats I wear are black, so I figure it'll go nice with it because the color's called mouse, but it's gray. It's kind of tonal grays. So I'm hoping to get my loom all set up so I can do that weaving, so I can use that. So if I do that, that's what Wednesday's video is going to be. I'm going to show how to warp the loom and how to get it all set up and dressed. Dressed means it's all set up through the harnesses and everything, ready to do the weaving. And I'll do a weaving demonstration. At least that's the plan. So we'll hope that happens. Now, there is no show and tell today because we finished up the holiday along this week, and all of the entries that came in this week were for the holiday along, not so much for show and tell. So show and tell will be back again next week. If you are new, because we do have several new subscribers in the last week, show and tell is a segment where you can send me pictures of one of your projects that you've made. Please include your name, the pattern, and the yarn, so that if we all see and drool over it, we can replicate that. So you can send it to my email address, which is KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com, or you can put it over on the Facebook page, Katrina Knits, and just tell me it's for show and tell. But yeah, give us as much information as you can, and that way I show the pictures of that during a show and tell segment of what you all are making, which I think is fun. All of us have had a great time with the holiday along, simply because we got to check out everybody's projects. And I will put a link at the end of the video that will take you over to the holiday along so you can see all 3 months. It ran from October 1st until December 31st. There are, I believe it's 400, how many? I'm trying to think. There are 453 entries in that and that doesn't include the ones that Sara and I made. Sara Oliver, the Lass Who Knits, was my partner with the holiday along. And so she and I both made some projects, but of course we didn't count ourselves as part of the winners or anything as an entry, but we just put our pictures in as well. So, yeah, if you want to check that out at the end of the video, you'll see when the end screen comes up, you'll see a little box with a picture of the holiday along. If you click that, it'll take you over and you can drool through everybody's projects. I think all total there is probably about 45 minutes worth of viewing time of other people's projects and what they've made. And it was a lot of fun. With the holiday along, one of the fun aspects that we did was, and this was Sara's idea and she kept track of it and everybody had a lot of fun with it, was we had Team Knit against Team Crochet. And she loosely followed the trip of Around the World in 80 Days from that book from Jules Verne. She basically followed that kind of pattern for his trip with a little modifications here and there. And she had Team Knit against Team Crochet, and for however many yards equaled a number of miles. And so the two teams were going against each other to see who could go from Glasgow, Scotland, which is where Sara lives, to where I live in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So if you missed the final details, and I'm not going to tell you where everybody ended up, because it's over on Sara's videos. And so if you want to go over and check the final tallies of how far everybody got, go over to Sara Oliver, the Lass Who Knits. I will put a link down below here that you can click. It'll take you over to her website. And you can see, yes, you can see how far the teams got, and you can see who the winner was over on her channel. And the winner for my channel was Spring Noelker, and she responded right away because she is a regular viewer, and her package should be arriving in the next day or two. I've already sent it out. So, yeah, so we had a lot of fun with the holiday along, so we will seriously think about doing this again next year. Now for my acquisitions that I got at the yarn shop I went to. Again, it's called Flying Fibers. It's in Landisville, Pennsylvania. They do have a website. I will put this information right here. But I will also put a link down below so you can check it out. They do have a website. It's www.flyingfibers.com. So you can go over there to their site, and like I said, they sell things. The fascinating thing that I really like about Flying Fibers is they carry yarns that are not always easy to get in my area. They carry Brooklyn Tweed, which you have to be juried to get Brooklyn Tweed. They don't just allow every yarn shop to carry it. So it's very limited. So they carry that. They carry Hedgehog fibers. They carry West Yorkshire spinners. They carry Quince & Co. Quince & Co. is a U.S. company, as is Brooklyn Tweed. But again, they're not ones that are readily available in every yarn shop you walk into. So, and they carry their own brand of yarns as well. So, yeah, they carry lots of fun stuff, a lot of things that are from the UK, like from Ireland. Hedgehog fibers comes from Ireland. They carry, just some other West Yorkshire spinners comes from the UK. Lots of fun places and things that they carry in that store. So, what I bought, this is Hedgehog fibers. Now, I really liked their previous labels. This is the label they've had for the last year or so. I like the old label that they had. But this is called Ozone, and it's 100 grams, which is 365 meters. I'm not sure how that works out in yardage. I will stick it here somewhere, how many yards. But it is 80% blue-faced Lister, which is a sheep, type of a sheep, and 20% nylon. And this is like in a sock to fingering weight. So here it is. And I don't have anything in like pinks and blues like this. I just thought it just looked so springish. And then I thought, well, what colors can I pick up with this? So I went with the very easiest and simplest, pink and cream. And this is like it's like an off-white. It's not a white. It's kind of a vanilla color. It's not quite a crew, but it's not like a brilliant white. And these two are Brooklyn Tweed, which is 100% American Merino. And the type of yarn it's called is Peary. They sell different ones. They have Loft. They have, I forget some of the names. I've got some of the other ones. But this particular base is called Peary. And again, it's a fingering weight, which can be interchanged with sock for the most part. And there are 210 yards per skein. So, yeah, it says sourced in Utah and Nevada and spun in Springvale, Maine. And it's dyed at Saco, Maine, which is where one of our viewers actually lives, just down the road from Saco, Maine, in Biddeford. You know who I'm talking about. Hi, Jocelyn. So anyway, there is, Saco has a dyeing mill, which I would love to go through a tour of that sometime. I don't know if they were doing tours, but that would be really fun up in Saco, Maine. So maybe the next time I go up, I'll see if I can do a tour of their dyeing. That would be really fun to take everybody on. So that is what the three of them are going to look like together, like that. And it's going to be, I'm not sure what the pattern I'm going to use yet, but it's going to be a springtime shawl. They also gave me a bookmark, which very handily has, let's see if you can see, there you go. It has a ruler on the end for measuring. And they gave me this little pin that says, Flying Fibers. There we go. Now, the other thing I got, and I'm going to be testing this later on, I got a new camera. This is specifically for filming and vlogging. So, I bought this because, as you saw when I held up this pen, or this little pin, it didn't focus real clearly. The camera I've been using since I started doing my YouTube is just a real cheap Logitech, and it does the job, but it doesn't do close-ups. It doesn't adjust for focusing. This one is supposed to do that, so I am very hopeful that when I do tutorials and when I do filming, it's a whole lot easier to carry this than it is to carry the camera I'm using, which has to attach to my computer and my external hard drive. So every time I film, I have to carry all this stuff upstairs, as opposed to just carrying this. So as a result, this video might turn out a little weird. I'm not sure. I want to test this during the come and get it section. When I announce all the sales, it will be filmed on this camera so that I can kind of see how well it goes and I can compare one to the other. This one has the SD card I have in it, and an SD card is just strictly for the memory for the video. The one I have in here is only a 4 gigabyte, so it's only going to record 24 minutes. So I knew I couldn't use it for the whole podcast because you know me, I'm going to talk longer than 40 or 24 minutes. So, yeah, so we're going to stick to it with just the come and get it section. And I did buy a larger capacity SD card, but it just hasn't arrived yet. So yes, this is going to be the guinea pig week when I test out the new camera, but I just think it'll be better for when I do take you guys on trips with me and things. I think it'll be nice. And it has this, it has a flip out, oops, and it just turned on. Yeah, it just turned on. When you open it up, it turns on. But anyway, it has a monitor so that I can turn this toward me and I can see better. And I can turn it like this when I'm filming aimed at me, so I can see what the screen's looking like. So yes, we shall see. We'll see if this helps a little bit. So, yes, that is my, it just turned off. So that is my acquisitions for this week. All right, now in our Come and Get It section this week, we have several end of the year leftover sales that are going on. So the first one is Annie's, and Annie's is offering beginning knit and crochet patterns on sale right now. So I went over and I looked at them because I thought, well, most of you are more advanced than beginners. Me, I can handle the beginner one. But there's actually some really pretty patterns over there, whether you are a beginner or not. So again, that is Annie's is offering beginner crochet, knitting and crochet patterns, and they are on sale right now. At Bluprint, they are offering 60% off 2 Bluprint exclusive items. So again, you do need to pick up a pattern that is, or you have to pick up a product, which could be maybe a pattern. Some of their yarns are Bluprint exclusives, things like that. Most of them I think are patterns. But you do have to get 2, but you get 60% off of 2 Bluprint exclusive items. This ends on January 6th, and you do need to use a coupon code New Year. They are also offering 55% off of their knit and crochet accessory kits, which would be like hats, gloves, you know, like your wearable accessories. So it's not like on sweaters and things like that. It's going to be hats, mittens, you know, shawls, things like that. So 55% off of their knit and crochet accessory kits. Create for Less. This is like the week when everybody makes resolutions, you know, at New Year's. Well, I don't because I never live up to them. But anyway, everybody makes, you know, resolutions. Everybody's resolution is to be more organized in the coming year. So along with that, lots of these places are offering organizing things. And Create for Less and Consumer Crafts are both doing this. So Create for Less is offering organizers and planners on sale right now. And I actually use a planner. It's just basically an empty book, but I put all my notes in these. I turned one of these into a planner for myself. So that is Create for Less. Consumer Crafts is also offering organizers and planners, and this particular one that I just showed, I actually got from Consumer Crafts. It comes in this gray, and they have it in a like a teal color, which is the one I actually turned into my planner for this year. So yeah, and they're just plain inside, but they have other planners as well. I think Happy Planner, something like that too. So that is Consumer Crafts and Create for Less. Both have organizers and planners. There's no coupon code. They've already been marked down. The Dollar Tree. Now, we all know that the Dollar Tree does carry yarn, and I have bought some wool yarn, which is actually surprisingly very nice. It's 100% wool. The gray and the white, you have to buy a minimum of 6. 6 skeins, so it's $6. If you like the red wool that they have, you have to buy like 106. I don't know what you do with 106 skeins of yarn. But anyway, if you want 106 skeins of red yarn, it's over there. But the other thing that Dollar Tree has, and I bought some, not through the website, but I went to the Dollar Tree because I do some of my grocery shopping there, is storage totes. And you do have to buy an entire case, but they're $1 a piece. So here's what I was thinking. There's 2 that I saw that I thought were kind of cool. The first one is a tote. Now what I thought with these totes, they've got handles and they've got little holes in them, and I was like, how cool would that be to put your yarn in it and then thread the end of your yarn through the hole so it doesn't get all tangled up, and then knit or crochet right from there, and it's got handles so you can take it with you anywhere. The thing is with it though, and they come in a whole bunch of colors, you have to order a case. There's 48 in a case. Nobody needs 48 totes. I could probably fill it up, but we don't need to do that. But if you have like a group you get together with and knit or crochet, you could go in together and get something and then split them up. You know, 6 or 8 of them is doable. So just a thought. And then I saw these other things that were there. Now you do have to buy a case of 36. However, these are the same similar idea. They almost remind me of the little shopping baskets that you carry around in the stores. But they're $1 a piece. They're smaller. They're smaller than the shopping baskets you carry around in the store. But because they're stackable, I was like, well, you could stack, you know, 6 across and 6 up. They're square, so they're easy to store, but you could put all of your yarn and projects in it, and just because they stack, they become their own yarn storage, and then you can just remove them as you want, and they have handles on them too. So just some thoughts, because I like organizing. I drive Dave crazy with it, but I enjoy organizing. So yes, totes and storage things get me a little excited. So Ice Yarns. Ice Yarns is having an end-of-year sale up to 90% off site-wide. Yes, up to 90%. That's a lot. You do not need a coupon code or anything. It's just already been marked down. Knit Crate, you can get 20% off your first subscription box. You do need to use a coupon code KCreations20 in order to get that 20% off, which basically will get you, if you get the membership box for $24.99 and that includes your shipping, your first box would pretty much be like $5 off, is what the 20% comes to. Knit Picks. Knit Picks, their yarn of the month is called Cotlin. It is a cotton linen blend, so if you want to start making projects for the spring and summer, it's out there. It is a DK weight. There's 2 different versions of it. One is more solid and one is more like a speckled or variegated. It is a 70% cotton and 30% linen. So those of you who live in warmer climates, that would be ideal. And that, again, that is Knit Picks. You do not need a coupon code. It is just their 20% off yarn. So when you open up the website, just click on the yarn of the month. It'll take you over to it. Leisure Arts. Leisure Arts has 40% off of their digital downloads right now, 35% off of their paperback patterns, and 25% off of their diamond art. So I know some of you do diamond art. I got kind of hooked into it too. It's sort of like paint by number, but with little teeny plastic beads that like adhere to like a sticky canvas. Sort of like a fly pest strip that you're sticking sparkly things to. That's the best way to, it sounds terrible, but that's the best way to describe it. But it's fun, it's a little addicting, and it's not as messy as paint by number unless you spill the beads all over the floor, which I have done. And last we have Lion Brand, and Lion Brand is offering 30% off of their yarn and kits. You do need to use a coupon code JAN30. So I'm assuming this is a sale that's going to last all of January. But it is 30% off of their yarn and kits. So that is our Come and Get It section for this week. And again, I'm hoping that the camera turns out. Well, we will see and test it out a little bit further. And again, make sure you tune in Wednesday so you can check out, if I hopefully get the thing warped, you'll be able to watch me warp the loom and watch operating the weaving loom. So that is hopefully Wednesday's video. If it doesn't work out, I'll stick something else in and we'll just both be surprised. So that is this week's episode. And thank you all again so much for watching and for coming back each week. If you have enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And I am looking so forward to the beginning of this year and just all the new changes it's going to bring. So thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you later.